She's been called a living legend by the Library of Congress. She's been called her deepness by the New York Times. Oceanographer, author, National Geographic Explorer in residence, one of the few items on her extensive list of accomplishments. Bioblitzers, I present to you from California, Dr. Sylvia Earle. Dr. Earle.
Thank you for that. And thanks for all of you for turning out for the Bioblitz. I also live here in Florida. I have a home up in Dunedin near Clearwater. I first came to Florida when I was 11 years old and got to know this area when there were far more mosquitoes and far fewer people. It's all turned around now. There are a lot more people and far fewer mosquitoes. There's still a few just to keep us in our place. People ask me sometimes, how did you get to be explorer in residence at the National Geographic? And I say, look, it's really easy. It's easy to be a scientist too. You start out as a kid and do what you guys are doing. What I did, you ask questions. Who, what, why, where, how, when? And then you never stop. You never stop. Some people tend to just level off and quit asking questions, quit turning over rocks, and lose the sense of wonder that is natural to kids. And it's in every scientist, every explorer that I've ever met. And today, you're going to see a lot of that come into focus with all the big kids around here, as well as you who are in the front row, front lines of making this happen. A lot has changed here since I first came to Florida. It's so different that sometimes I tell people I come from a different planet, because the planet was so different when I arrived that I barely recognized the place in many ways. But while some of the changes are really good, and really, we didn't have cell phones when I was a kid, no computers, none of the things that are now benefiting us mightily. But we have fewer fish, we have fewer trees, fewer of the things that also are important to keeping us alive. I worry about what is going to happen going forward when you are having kids. I know it's a scary thought. It was for me when I was 10 years old. I thought that I would have kids someday. But if we get it right, we can actually take measures that will leave the place better than we found it, with more fish, more trees, a healthier planet than what we have today. That's what I'm dedicated to. I want to see the world a better place than it is today, as you are seeing it for the first time. One thing that you should keep in mind when you go out there in the bay, we're looking at species. That's a kind of a unit of diversity that people can get their minds around. But there's another unit that really counts, especially when you're out there in the ocean. And that's the bigger level, the higher level of diversity, the phylum level, that sets crabs and all of their joint-legged creatures apart from, say, the soft-bodied ones, the mollusks, the squids, and the octopuses. In the ocean, here in Biscayne Bay, you're likely to see a cross-section of nearly all of the major divisions of animal life on the planet. The big divisions. You will find mollusks. You will find arthropods. You're likely to find peanut worms, sipunculids. I hope so. While we're making this great sweep of diversity on the species level, we should also be making and thinking about the divisions of life on those big categories. How many phyla of animals are we going to find? How many different categories of plants? Because the ocean has representation of nearly all of them. On the land, even in the richest rainforests, you'll only get about half of the diversity of that big level of animals and plants. The ocean is where the action is when it comes to diversity. And you guys today are going to blitz it. And I can't wait to be out there splashing around, getting wet, finding critters with you. So, I'm in.